Hello everyone, Dr. Dan Mason, PhD, here. Let's explore another issue in our current events together, the lies of evolution. We have a new article from the Quanta newsletter where scientists claim that they have recreated the microbial dance that sparked the evolution of complex life, fueled by endosymbiosis, cellular alliances in which one microbe makes a permanent home inside another. For the first time, they say, biologists made it happen in the lab. So now let us address the illusion of evidence and the control behind the story. Why this story falls apart. I read this article and saw a pattern right away. It is built on suggestion, not on proof. The writer relies on dramatic language to make the reader feel as if a lab experiment explains the origin of complex life. Nothing in the story shows life forming itself. Nothing shows microbes turning into the first complex cell. The article tells the story of people forcing bacteria into a fungus using a pump. That is not evidence that evolution happened in the past. That is a controlled laboratory event created by intelligent scientists who already know the outcome. In simple terms, it tells me nothing about natural origins. It only proves that trained people can push bacteria into a fungus when they use tools, needles, and pressure pumps. What they actually did. The scientists did not watch evolution. They did not see life develop on its own. They did not see something new appear without help. The article admits they used enzymes to soften a cell wall, a needle, and a pump to jam bacteria into another cell. That is not spontaneous life. That is engineering. It is the same way a mechanic installs a part into an engine and then says the engine created the part on its own. The entire setup makes the result artificial. When I see the words creative problem solving and special needles and bicycle pump, the picture is clear. This was not nature. This was not random. This was not evolution happening on its own. This was human will. That means it tells me nothing about what happened in the distant past. The missing evidence they do not mention. The writer provides no data showing that this happens in nature without help. The people in the lab had to force the event. If anything, the whole thing proves the opposite of what they want. It shows these relationships do not form naturally. It shows they do not occur unless intelligent minds guide the process. There is no fossil record of this event. There is no documented observation of a natural beginning of a complex cell. There is no genetic record showing one species becoming a different form of life. They offer none of this because they have none of it. The article gives a story. It does not provide proof. Why they push this idea so hard. This article is built to control the reader. It pushes the idea that scientists have unlocked the secret of life. It pushes the idea that the debate is over. It pushes the message that naturalistic evolution is inevitable. When people read this, they are supposed to feel impressed and agree without asking questions. But the more you look at it, the more you see how thin it is. It relies on the average reader not understanding the difference between human engineering and natural process. It uses the trick of telling a long story so that the reader forgets that humans designed the whole thing. This style of writing does not educate. It directs. It tries to shape belief. It tries to give confidence to a theory that still has no natural confirmation. The logical gap. They cannot cross. There is no connection between this engineered event and the origin of life. Even if one microbe can live in another after a scientist forces it inside, this does not explain how the first cell formed. It does not show how DNA came into existence. It does not show how proteins are formed. It does not show how the information appeared. Endosymbiosis does not solve the fundamental question that every honest researcher knows. Where did the information in life come from in the first place? They do not answer because they cannot answer. What Scripture shows instead. The Bible gives a simple foundation. Life comes from life. God created living things by intention. Scripture never describes life building itself or climbing upward from simpler forms. The pattern in Scripture matches the pattern we observe. Life reproduces after its kind. Living beings do not transform into new types of organisms. Nothing in this laboratory story challenges that. Forced symbiosis inside a lab does not remove the creator from the picture. It confirms the need for intelligence. It affirms that complex relationships require guidance. It confirms that parts do not assemble themselves without a mind. Why the control matters. The push for stories like this is not about science. It is about shaping the public. When they tell these stories, they want you to accept their worldview. They need evolution to be fact, so they can remove the creator from the conversation. When God is removed, human experts fill the vacuum. Then the experts decide the truth. They decide ethics. They decide meaning. That is control. The article fits the pattern. It does not present proof. It presents confidence. Confidence without evidence is not science. It is persuasion. My final thought. I look at this article and I see trained people using precision tools to force a result. Then I watch them claim that the consequence explains how life formed on its own. This is not honest reasoning. This is not an objective inquiry. This narrative is built to maintain control over the discussion of origins. I trust Scripture because it matches reality. Life does not arise from non-life. Information does not appear without a mind. Design does not come from chaos. And these engineered lab events only reinforce that truth, not weaken it. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to support this channel.